going on, everybody? Good to be back here on a Wednesday, hump day. It's always fun halfway through the week. Looking forward to the weekend. I know I am. Um, Even though I've been doing this thing called 75 hard, so it's not like I'm celebrating and drinking on the weekend. If you don't know what that is, you should look it up. It's pretty fun so far. But not here to talk about my 75 days of hardship, which is self-inflicted, by the way. So I'm here to talk about another book. The book this week we're going to talk about was recommended to me by a buddy of mine named Ben Crowley. He's a local business owner here in the Eagle River Anchorage area. And on one of our meetings, he had mentioned this book, and I'm glad he did. It's called The Go Giver. This particular book it's a short story. It's fiction, so it's not true, but it's written by Bob Berg and John David Mann. So it's interesting because you read the book and reading through it, yes, it's fiction and it's a short story, but the principles within the book are really good and they can be used in real world situations. It's about business. And I thought it was very interesting and very helpful and useful for what I'm doing. So I figured why not talk about it and bring it to the world. Since he introduced it to me, I'm going to introduce it to you. So let's talk about this book, The Go Giver. All right, what it is, it's a story about a guy who's having a rough time making his numbers for his company. And he's not going to make his quota. And he's worried about not getting his bonuses or potentially getting laid off because you don't make the money, you're not useful to the company, it's time to go. So he goes on this quest to meet this amazing CEO, business owner, and get some insight, potentially pitch him for business, right? Hey, how would you like to sign up with us, create a new account, bring in a bunch of money? Well, that whole thing turns out to be a lesson, right? He's going to learn a lesson. This CEO decides to take him under his wing and teach him the 5 laws of success. And that's what we're going to talk about is the 5 laws. And the first law is the law of value. And it says your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. So, what does that mean? Is that necessarily all monetary? I don't think so. I take it as you have to be willing to provide something to somebody without expecting anything in return, right? And that's not a bad thing. The one example I can give is I had an individual that was referred to me for coaching, but after sitting down and talking, it turned out I wasn't going to be able to help this person. I wasn't the expert that the person needed. So I was like, hold on a second. I know I can't help you, but you know what? I know somebody that can. And I made another phone call and another phone call and ended up finding another person that I trusted and was able to connect the two. Now, I didn't get anything in return, but and monetarily, but I did get a little, self gratification because I was able to help this person who was referred to me in the first place. So that's the kind of stuff that I would say, value that you're giving as opposed to, what you're getting in payment. So the second law is the law of compensation. Now, this is where the money comes in, right? So your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. So you could really easily sum this up to customer service. If you're a business owner or you work in a customer driven world, you want to take care of your customer. And I had a conversation with a buddy of mine yesterday, as a matter of fact, about that very thing. And there was another example along the same lines. A customer calls and they've been doing business, there for a long time, but for some reason things change and you can't help that customer anymore. However, you do know somebody that can help them. Referring them out because they're going to remember is not a bad thing. All right. You may not be able to help them this time, but you will be able to help them next time. And not only that, when they start thinking about companies that they know and trust and that are about serving the people, they're going to remember your business because it wasn't about the bottom dollar at that point. It was about the customer service. So keep that in mind when you have customers calling in whatever field you do, right? I know another business owner who they were so busy and inundated with the contracts that they couldn't take any more contracts. Instead of just turning them away and saying, you know what, I can't help you, sorry, call back later. No, they actually referred competitors that they trusted. Why? Because the competitor was just as good as they were and available. And customers remember that. And this would be beneficial for anybody in the customer service industry. All right. Third law is called the law of influence. And this is pretty big when it comes to running a business or running a team, if you will. So it says your influence is determined by how abundantly you place others, people's interest first. So, yeah, how much do you place other people's interest first? Now, let me caveat this. It's not saying at the detriment of your own, all right? It's not saying that you have to sacrifice all of your needs, wants, and everything in order to help others. But let's put it into perspective. If you're a leader or in a leadership position, right? You're the CEO of your company. You have, doesn't matter how many employees you have. If you are taking care of your people are going to take care of you. And if they know that no matter what, it's you're going to take care of them and you're going to make sure that the folks that actually make the company run are satisfied, they're going to jump through hoops to make sure you are satisfied. And this is proven time and time again. And I actually learned this in the military early on. Take care of me, I'll take care of you, and vice versa, right? My troops, I didn't have any troops in the military that really gave me a hard time. Um, and all of them, I've been called to the carpet several times because of them, and I don't regret any one of them. All right, and if you don't know what that means, it means I got my ass chewed more than once. It's a good time. It's always a good story later on. So the fourth law, the law of authenticity, and they write valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. Now I think I did a live stream about this regarding myself a couple weeks ago. You know, try not to be something that I wasn't. All right. Um, I'm in the coaching world, so a lot of people in the coaching world or that look at the coaching world think various things. Um, I'm not the majority of them. There's a lot of coaches out there that aren't about holding hands and meditating. Not saying that that stuff is bad, not at all. But that's not me, and I know a bunch of other coaches. One coach I can think of off the top of my head who I follow and I like Sean Whalen. He's actually the creator of Lions Not Sheep, and he is a coach. Like he coaches people in a group, and he also coaches people individually. He is not the hold hands, meditating kind of guy, but he's got a lot of awesome principles. He's got a lot of interesting insights to things, and he's helped a lot of people. So I looked at that and I'm like, you know what? He is staying genuine to himself. Why can't I do the same thing? So that is the law of authenticity. Be yourself, and people will see. Like people will see it, and they will come to you. All right. If you're being fake, they will also see it. And if you're not being yourself, it's not going to attract the right kind of people. All right. Then you end up stuck in this whole thing, and eventually you got to come out. Think of any influencer on social media that has been outed for not being 100%, um, and do the opposite. All right. That's what I'm trying to do. So the last law, and this is the very interesting one, it's kind of difficult to explain, but hopefully you get it. The last law is called the law of receptivity. The key to effective giving is to stay open to receiving. Now you can take this a couple ways. The main way I took it was you can only give so much, but eventually it's okay to ask for, not really ask for help, but to accept help, because there are going to be people out there that remembered everything that you did for them. They're gonna try to do it for you. And to be honest, if you deny that, it's kind of rude. And according to the book, it's actually very arrogant, which I would agree with. So it says the examples it gives says big dreams and being curious and believing in ourselves is actually uh, they're all aspects of being receptive, right? And if you think about that, if you have a big dream and you're curious about what things could be if you did a certain thing, and then believing in yourself. You have to be willing to actually believe in yourself in order to achieve, and be open to receiving, receptive to your curiosity, receptive to the possibility of, you know what, I could create X, Y, and Z. All I have to do is be open to it. So I may not have explained that the way they intended, but that is how I took it, and I really enjoyed the book. And like I said, for it being a fictional book, I thought it was really good. And I'm glad my buddy, shout out to Ben, Ridgeline Inspections. If you're ever in Eagle River, Anchorage, I think he goes all the way down to Girdwood and up to Wasilla. But he is the one of the best home inspection guys I've ever met. And the reason is because he actually puts this book to use. He cares about his customers. He cares about educating his customers on what to look for. That way, if they don't hire him in the future, they know what to look for. And he's very hands-on, very thorough in his inspection. So if you're in the Eagle River, Anchorage, Wasilla, Palmer, the bowl, look him up. Ridgeline Inspections, Ben Crowley, good dude. So, and no, he's not sponsoring this. He's just a really good dude. And I plan on doing more of these to some business owners that are local in the future, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help people out, and I'm going to refer folks that I know and trust. And I've got a bunch of them for you. So keep an ear out. So that's all I want to talk about today. I got kind of tired of talking about all the shit that's going on in the news. Felt this was a great book to talk about. It's concept. The concept is real. You know, I'm in another group, and the theory is givers gain, and it's true. When you give, you will receive. And it's not saying you have to go in it not expecting to receive. No, if you're in a business, or you are a business owner, you should want to receive. You should want to make more money, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. So don't think for one second this is talking about not getting back in return eventually. All right. So I highly recommend this book. Go get it. It's called The Go Giver by Bob Berg and John David Mann. All right. Until next time, y'all take it easy. Peace.